Good evening. My name is Leon Thomas. Welcome to the new Biz Buzz Show, where we give new business owners an opportunity to tell us about the buzz on their business. Here we go. The new Business Buzz Show. I'm Leon Thomas. Welcome to New Business Buzz, where we highlight new businesses and tell you about them so that we can create buzz about your new biz. I'm Leon Thomas. Welcome to my co-host, Brooke Young, and our guest for today, Jacques Abreu. Jacques, you and I met a long time ago in the hotel business, and I'm sure we'll talk about that some at some point. But I think it's important for everyone to know you are very accomplished. You have a PhD, I think 2 PhDs in theology. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you do a lot of things in the hotel business, but we're going to focus on a lot of our conversation today about these silent retreats. Brooke, go ahead, take it away.
I have never met someone that has a PhD in theology before, so firstly, I'm very excited about that. And I often find when someone is so accomplished or when someone does so many different things, it's hard to fit it all into one little section. But I want to talk about the silent retreats really quickly.
Yeah, this is exciting. I'm super excited to talk about the silent retreats. So yeah, shoot the questions my way.
Okay, so where did the idea or the inspiration for a silent retreat come from?
So, Brooke, let's get real and raw. Is that okay? Like we just met.
I'm good, so down for that because I feel, especially behind the social media screens, we can get a little stagey sometimes.
Yeah,
so I'm down for that.
Yeah, so I'm sitting in my office, and this office I spend a lot of time in, right? So
it's a beautiful office.
Thank you. Overlook a sheep farm, so that's fun. But you know, I'm waking up at like 6 o'clock in the morning. I have a toddler. And we're go, right in the morning. And then I hit work and I'm go again. So it's, and then you go home and it's bedtime for baby boy. By the time it's, 7, 8 o'clock at nighttime, I, hang out with my wife and then it's bedtime and off to the races again. So you just go and you go and you go. And sometimes you just forget how important it is to take a minute, right? Like just breathe and relax and take some intentionality in breathing. And so I have a coach that I hired. Her name is Kristen Albert. I'll give a plug to her. She's pretty awesome. And she had encouraged me to take a day off. And I said, how in the world am I going to take a day off from work after, what I just mentioned to you? I mean, how do you do that?
The world's going to end if I take a day off of work.
Right.
Everything's going to stop. I'm literally a little hamster on the spinning wheel, just running and running.
Tell me about it, Brooke. And then like when you do take a day off, it's like, oh, I took the day off. I'm going to go and do laundry or right. It's like,
I'm going to go clean my house.
It's like filling up more time. So it's, so these silent day retreats became something so important to me that I just said, okay, not only am I going to unplug, but I'm going to be intentional about unplugging. I'm going to do some work that maybe I haven't done in a long time. Like, for example, taking an hour and asking myself, who do I need to forgive, including myself? Who have I not really let go of something that maybe they've said, done, whatever in my life, and vice versa? What have I done that I just need to let go of and I just need to forgive myself for, or whatever that might be? And taking a full hour and just saying, look, I'm not going to do anything else except for just that. And almost like, doesn't it scare you a little bit? Because you think what does that do, right?
It makes you feel so vulnerable when you realize something like that about yourself.
Yeah. So that's where the silent day retreats kind of started as a concept, was something I needed, right? And I find that like whenever it's a need that you need, it becomes personal and then it becomes something you can share with other people and you can say, hey, are you interested in doing something like that with me, right? So my first silent day retreat will be tomorrow and it's a full day. It's from 9 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, literally quiet the whole time. And then after that, we're off to the races. So it's exciting.
That is amazing. Well, congratulations on that, by the way. And I agree with you about just the intentionality part of it. Now, I'm a singer. I've always sung since I was a little toddler. And something that singers do a lot is take a whole entire day of silence, a whole entire day of vocal rest. And I have to tell you, that is the hardest thing, is to be alone with your own thoughts. But it's one of the most cleansing, healing things you can do too, even though it's super duper stressful. So there's different rooms though, right? Isn't there different themes? Can you walk me through that?
Yeah. So basically what I did is I started to create concepts, right? Where it's like, okay, what do I need? What is it things that I need to just like break down
that affect me on the everyday basis?
Yeah. And like, think about, you know, like at the end of the day, if it's going to be personal, then I'm going to actually invest in it. And I'm going to start to, you know, do the silent retreat in a way that's going to be beneficial to me. And so how I built it was there's 6 rooms. Okay. So there's 6 people going into 6 different rooms throughout the day. They're not together. They're separate. Right. So when you arrive, there's a bag that has your name on it that basically gives you the breakdown of the day. Right. So you come in and you get your bag and it says, welcome, you know, basically like, hey, I'm not here. I'm a host. Right. So I'm not here. Welcome to your day. I'm not even present. And enjoy your day. And basically, you know, I'm going to offer a congratulations, you're doing a silent retreat, but I'm not even there to welcome you into a building you might never have been in before, right? So it's a 6,400 square foot farmhouse. You walk in and you literally get your bag and it gives a color-coded section, you know, red, yellow, green, etc. And then the house is broken up into those colors. And then each of those colors have a mindful moment. And those mindful moments are the work that you can do, you can choose to do, or you don't have to do them, right? So like the forgiveness part that I mentioned to you earlier, that might be one of the colored rooms. Well, if that's not something that really resides with you and you're kind of like, you know, not really into that, yeah, I'm really good. I feel like I kind of work in forgiveness every day. I don't really hold grudges. So I don't really need that room. That's fine. You can use that room for something different. You can chill. You can walk around the property. Maybe you just need to go debrief and have a glass of wine, if I may say.
No, and everyone has a different need. Everyone has a different vision. But I think the most important part is we all need it, whether or not we are consciously aware of what we need. And in our society, there's so much technology and there's just so much to be done on the daily basis that we forget that we actually crave it or that we actually need it. And until we take the time to really sink in and really experience it, we don't realize that we're missing it so often, which I think is really cool because you're bringing it to the forefront of somebody's mind rather than letting it be the afterthought like it so often is.
Yeah. No, it's so good. I've done a lot of schooling, as it was mentioned earlier, which is not something that I like publicize often. So whenever someone says that, I'm like, whoa, I forgot. But at the end of the day, I think, you know, that schooling has showed me that the best teacher is going to be yourself, right? Like that's where you really learn, is when it's something that is important to you and you've bought stock into it, you've really invested your time into it, and it's something that you really want to grow in. And when you can listen to yourself and you can take your own advice, and really, I believe that's the Holy Spirit talking, is when you can just quiet yourself down and just listen, you know, and that's the advice you usually take. You know, when all these other people and all these other voices and all these other people get involved in your life so much, you can stop and lose yourself. And so this is reconnecting, regrouping, restructuring, going back to home plate is what these days are made for.
Well, I'm going to throw it over to Leon. He has some questions for you, I think, and
Cool.
He's going to do a little bit of an advertisement.
You're watching the New Business Buzz show. My name is Leon Thomas. You're watching New Business Buzz. We're here with Jacques Abreu, and we're just so delighted to have you as a guest, Jacques. Now, here's something. You say that when you show up, right? This is, how long is the day? How many hours is it?
Yeah, so the full day from start to end is 7 hours. So it's 6 hours of dedicated silence, and then an hour, if you would like to share, you can at the end.
So 6 hours without this?
Yeah.
Without this?
Yeah.
How are people responding? What's been the feedback?
It's actually kind of interesting. Brooke just nailed it. You know, before when she said before we went live, she was talking about needing to just go into nature and just the thinking, right? And I think that just takes you back to home plate. So people are responding like, I need this. Like it's like air. It's like coming up for a minute and going, wait a minute, am I even being who I really am? Am I really showing up into the world authentically? Am I being the Jacques, the Brooke, the Leon I'm called to be in this world?
Wow, really nice, really nice. This is exciting. You invited me to attend one. You said that there's one more seat, and I'm not going to come this time, but it's definitely something that I could see folks taking advantage of. And I know that even when I put the device down for reasons that really force me to, like when I'm playing racquetball or coaching racquetball, you can't have the phone on the court. That there is a sense of relief without having that device.
Yeah. I think that this world and this society has like leaned so much on to technology and listening by engagement that we forget that silence is the loudest teacher, and silence speaks to the listening soul. So when you silence yourself and you're just in that state of listening, I believe truly that you can hear the need for your own person.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brooke. I'll step away. Go ahead. I'll listen some more.
Honestly, that one of my greatest gifts is just talking and talking and talking. But something that I like talking about is education. I know higher education should be so prioritized because you learn so much, and especially in the very high level education. So what's it like to have a PhD in theology? I just want to ask.
Honestly, I've learned more afterwards and before than I would have during my schooling. I'm a huge education junkie. I will be in education for the rest of my life. I believe that education is important, but I do believe that life skills and the things that are important are usually learned in marriage, having a toddler. That's where true learning is, right? Like my wife has taught me more than any school has ever been able to teach me. My toddler.
I work with toddlers, so I understand the sentiment.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about like patience, you need to learn that live. You don't learn that through scripture.
No. Rolling back just quickly to the silent retreat, toddlers have such an innate sense of we go out in nature, we play. We're not burdened by technology. We're not burdened by being a workaholic. And I think we learn so much by being around toddlers and having them in our lives because they help us to free up and just to take things a little bit lighter.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish I could send the video right now of my son, chasing pine cones yesterday. He was just literally running after pine cones, yelling, pine cones. And it was silly in the moment, Brooke. But honestly, that's what this silent retreat does, is it reminds you of the things like pine cones that you never even think about. And yet you walk past them every single day. And it's like, becoming grateful for the air that you breathe, the steps you get to take, when you get to take them, the people that you're with, and just hitting, like I said, I keep saying that home plate again, going back to home plate. That's what this is all about.
Right. And mindfulness is huge. You wrote a book, correct?
Yeah. It's called Your Wisdom Chronicles.
And what's that about?
So it's the concept of if you could sit down with your older, wiser self and actually have a conversation with that person, what would that person actually tell you? Right. So like, would that person say, hey, make a great idea? Or would that person say, look, restructure, refocus, here's what you really need to pay attention to, like your marriage or maybe your toddler or whatever it is that you're missing out on because you're, so busy. So that's what the premise of the book is. Yeah.
And that's amazing. So many people advocate now for writing letters to your past self, to your future self, and things of that nature. Would you describe it along that line?
Oh, yeah. I think that it's definitely a part of that journey.
That little family, right?
Yeah. It's
that very mindful, very intentional family of, just being introspective and thinking about yourself, both in terms of who you are inside, but who you are in relation to the outside world is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, we think it's almost like weird to sit down with an older, wiser self. Like it sounds like new agey or just awkward for some people. But really, when you think about it, you have a past self, you have a current self, and you have a future self. And if you, really ask yourself the questions, what would my future self say to me? Let's have a real conversation.
Right. And I think it helps people alleviate regrets. And that's one of the big things that I always think about is not regretting wasting my precious time here on earth. I want to live it to the fullest and use it to serve others and serve myself and just be with people that mean a lot to me. And I feel that so many people have that intention, but it's easy to get caught up and sucked into technology, being a workaholic, just so many of the issues that we have.
Yeah, it's so true, Brooke. And we celebrate those things, right, as a society. So we celebrate, how much work can you get done? How many degrees can you get, and you've applauded me a couple times for degrees, but that's why I'm not really one to wear it on my hat, because at the end of the day, that's not where my applause for myself is. My applause for myself is like, are you able to live with yourself? Like your decisions, your marriage, your children, and the decisions maybe you have made, how do you get past those decisions? Or, the future decisions you will make, how do you rectify those and make better choices than maybe you have in the past? All those things are way more important to me.
Mm-hmm. We do get very caught up on external factors of success, or we feel that the car we drive or the home that we live in is what makes us successful. But really the ability to like yourself is going to change your whole life, or even to love yourself, to put it a little bit more radically. When you can sit with yourself silently and say, hey, self, I know you're doing your best. I appreciate you for what you're doing. I think that brings a whole new level of radical self-acceptance, and the right people, the right opportunities, the right moments start to come into your life when you begin to radically accept yourself more, is another great byproduct.
Yeah, I love that. I love what you're saying. And I think that that's also in the same line of thought that we talked about this right before the show went live. And that was authenticity, right? It's going back to your authentic self and really thinking about what is it that I'm doing in the world that's going to benefit the world? And is that truly who I am? And what I'm doing currently, if it's not going to benefit the world, then maybe I need to stop doing it so that I can do something that will benefit the world.
Right. And use your time and your wisdoms and your resources well. You are in hotel management, correct?
Yes, I am, which is like a full-time plus another full-time. So it's like, 3 jobs in one. Right. Because people
Workaholic Central is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. So it's like, what do you do? It's like, yes.
I do this and this and this.
Right. Yeah. So hotel management, and then oversee the wedding venue too, which is called Chestnut Hill Villa, and that's where we're actually hosting the silent retreat. That's the 6,400 square foot farmhouse. It has acreage right around it. It kind of borders a sheep farm. So if you can imagine, looking out, just silence, looking at the sheep, they do the talking, right? Like, come on, that's life to me.
Oh, that is so cute. And I love animals. So that hits the nail on the head for me personally.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, no, I think that going back on that silent day retreat, we had talked a little bit about each of the rooms and the mindfulness that matters in each of the rooms and going through that stage. And I think that, silence sometimes just needs to be a little bit guided, because I think that boredom can become somebody's art project, right? It's like literally the best things come from boredom, but also having that guide will help, maybe mitigate some of that boredom. So it's like, useful time being silent.
Wow. Well, that is profound. I'm going to send it back over on that beautiful and profound note. If he's going to come up, if he's going to show up with us, I'm not so sure about that. Hey, well, technology blips happen. Technology blips happen all the time.
It's all good, Brooke. We can still chat.
I have one more thing. I have one more thing I forgot.
Yeah.
Tell me your ranking.
What's that?
Yeah. Tell me your hotel ranking.
Oh, yeah. So we just landed. We were 3rd in the nation. Yeah. Out of 554 hotels. So we're very proud of that. Yeah.
No, that is insane. I actually can't imagine being ranked that. So what was your emotion or what was your reaction when you got ranked that high?
I mean, I have to throw it back to the team though, because I think our emotions all kind of collectively, it was all the team. I mean, at the end of the day, we create a ship and we say, let's sail. But if not everyone's on the board, right, it doesn't really matter how far you go. So I have to say it's the team. Well,
that is beautiful. Well, I just got a little notification that I am going to end today, which makes me feel very extremely special and something I've never done before. So don't judge me.
Okay. Non-judgmental zone. Go for it, Brooke.
I love the non-judgmental zone. Well, I'm just going to wrap it up by saying thank you so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And it was a ton of fun. I feel that I learned a lot. Great intellectual conversation. I think everybody would learn a lot from it too.
I think it'd be fun. And I have 1 spot left. So if you want to come, I have 1 spot. So it was a cancellation last minute. It's tomorrow. So if somebody's watching this live and is like, yo, I really want to go, I think this is on my heart, let's do it.
Okay. Well, you can see it in the link there below. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Thanks for watching another edition of New Biz Buzz, where we help new businesses spread the buzz about their biz. If you'd like to be a guest on New Biz Buzz, send an email to leonthetrainer@gmail.com.